Lindy Ruff, Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff joining us on the Wester Hotline. Lindy, good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Thanks for taking some time today.
Yeah, morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Pretty good. We'll start with the big news, good news. 4-game win streak, first one for the team in a couple of years. And I'd imagine a 4-game win streak's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the way we've ground through some of these games have been tight games. Last night was a tight game, and we had some guys out. They had some guys out, but every team deals with adversity, from players being injured to whatever. And really, there's nothing but winning a game that makes the difference.
You mentioned on Sunday, Lindy, after the game, that you think the group is getting better at grinding. Did you feel like last night was an example of that in the third period? I mean, the team was on their heels a lot in the third, but whether there was block shots or whatever, like to get it home, I'm sure is a good feeling because that has not always been the case this season.
Yeah, I think you look at, we dressed 11 forwards. We lose a forward in the game. We're down to three. We're down to 3 lines. The third period. You have to be smart. The good teams don't give up high quality chances. They don't take penalties when you've got a couple goal lead. I think if you look at or break down the third period, we gave up with the one opportunity where they kind of went through the seam on the entry and got probably what I would say a B scoring chance, which was their only really good chance in the third period. So if you're asking your goalie, only to make 1 or 2 saves and don't take any penalties, your odds of winning a hockey game go way up. And I think we failed that test early in the year. I think we're starting to pass the test now.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff joining us. Lindy, of course, it's been tumultuous might be a little strong, but the last 48 hours from the Tage hit, your response in post-game, you were a little fired up, players met. Take us through the whole thing, if you can. I mean, after the game, there were a couple of different answers from different players, and then a meeting takes place to address that there would be a response next time. Was that a players' meeting? Was that driven by...
That was a meeting where we were all involved. And I said last night in the press conference, I have had 3 or 4 of these hard meetings. They come after where you don't play well, where we may be talking about the compete in the game, the lost battles in the game, the lack of discipline in the game where you take bad penalties. This was just another scenario where, we dealt with this. We talked about it. You go back to the start of the year when I don't even know what game somebody ran, whoever, it instantly Tuck dropped his gloves and fought the guy on what looked like a bad hit. Right response. We went through the scenario and we've moved on.
I wonder, Lindy, how Dahlin has been in recent days. He is one of the guys that post-game said that can't happen again. And he's obviously wearing the C, and he's been someone in the past that's played with fire, and he's stood up for teammates too. So I wonder what you've seen from him, even if it's not specifics, just him being a leader, first year as the captain, kind of how he has acted in a situation in meetings like this in recent days.
Yeah, I think it's probably hardest on your leaders, that type of situation. And what he said is true to the core. It just can't happen. And you can look at all types of scenarios where maybe a player didn't see the play. Referees are yelling accident. It was an accident. Anything. There's all kinds of things I've heard through the years when something like that happens. You err on the side that you gotta love your teammates. You can't judge what anybody else thinks, but you've got to react to that situation, and it can't happen.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff, you guys, as you say, you've moved on. So the meeting is not just about how what has happened can't happen again. It's obviously addressing it going forward in the future. And I guess what I would wonder, or what I would ask Lindy is, do you think it's about youth? Do you think it's about the type of team? Is it about telling the guys that maybe think that's not my job that, yes, in fact, that is your job in that spot?
No, I believe everybody knows. Everybody knows. You really should feel sick about the whole situation. This isn't about that's not my job. This is about loving your teammates and pack mentality. And it's not even about it. It's not even about fighting. It's about the core of what a team is. That you're there for your teammate. All 5 guys are there for your teammate. Sometimes it's all 6 guys are there for the teammate, and we've seen that in the past where a goalie gets involved. That's what it's about. It's about, caring for each other in that 2.5 hour, 3 hour window where when stuff like that happens, the team comes first.
From last night's game, the opening face-off, hearing you in post-game say like that was not like pre-planned or anything by you or anybody else on the team. Gilbert going out and dropping the gloves right away. How much do you think that impacted the group on the night? Like less so even than just like, hey, show the league type of thing. I wonder how important it was for the guys themselves.
Well, let's start with the previous game. I start Melanstein, Krebs, and Tuck. Mal had a big hit in the Devils game 15 seconds in on Mercer. A lot of times coaches look at who the other team starts. Like who did Buffalo start the previous game? And usually when, just the way I am, when we win, I start the same crew. I just kind of reward them for getting us off to a good start. So the plan was to start the same crew, but when I took a look at the lineup, I still had Krebs and Melanstein, but just changed the D. They put their hardest, toughest line out there, and I thought, maybe they were thinking that we're going to come out really aggressive. They're going to counter. Maybe they think they saw what happened last game. They're going to come after us. So that wasn't going to happen.
Two guys I wanted to ask you specifically about, but more in a general sense. Power and Samuelsson are on the ice on Sunday, but more than that, Lindy, like they've kind of been lightning rods, I would say, for a while. I think it's mostly because of their size. Like they're both big guys, and neither, maybe to different extents, are always looking to be, no one's Scott Stevens anymore, but like super intimidating with their size. Do you think either one of them, or in general, players like that need to be more physically aggressive to hit their peak, or do you think they could be who they are and still reach success in the league?
Well, I mean, we're talking about, we're talking about 2 players that have the same stature. I think we're talking about 2 players that play a different game. I think both players, to a man, know they needed to get in the previous game. They needed to get in. Owen Power plays a different game than Samuelsson. Samuelsson's game is he needs to be physical. He needs to end plays. And parts of that game, from the start of the year to him going out of the lineup, that was part of, you've got to be more physical. You got to end plays. His game has elevated, and it has been elevating. He's been, when I go through numbers and I go through ending plays and physicality down low, has been better. It's a process to get him there. If you look at Owen Power, his physicality down low, his game is a different game. His game is more of an offensive game. It's a transporting the puck up the ice type of game, and he's getting better at ending plays with physicality, which he works on every day. It is about improving in the areas, improving in that physicality area, improving in the areas that will help us make a better team and make him a better player. And it is something that I can tell you that Owen Power works on every practice, after practice. And this kid, he'll get better. He'll continue to get better.
Do you feel like on his side, just a follow-up on power, because he is still only 22, I don't know, for you, like at that age, do you feel like size-wise, getting more physical, that there's still more growing for him to do just on his physicality, like just from a body standpoint, more so than even the mindset?
I do. I would liken it, maybe this is a bad example for you, but I would liken it to when I had Tyler Myers, when I started out. It took Tyler... It probably took him 3-4 years to the one point. I still remember when he told me after year 2, I still don't have my man strength.
Yeah.
And a conversation like that just sticks with you. You look at a guy that was 6'7". You expect physicality. You expect he wasn't strong enough. Those first couple of years we worked on trying to get him stronger. Eat more, put on a few pounds, and not put on weight that doesn't help you, but get stronger to where you can end plays, and physically you can be a dominating guy when you need to get. And I think the league has these guys. You go back to, I'll use Wilson that I had here, the big defenseman, where you try to push these guys into that to help their game. So I can give you a couple of examples of young guys that some guys take longer. I wish it happened quicker. Some guys have it right from the start. Their build, their body their training has been exceptional to that point. And that's where we have to get our guys to.
To Dennis Gilbert on that, you mentioned, Lindy, you put out there, you chose who you put out there because from what my read of it is, you said that's not going to happen again. You're going to make sure guys are out there that are not going to get run early in the game. So Gilbert goes out and takes matters into his own hands to send his own message. That's not something, you said it was not organized. So what was your chat with him after the fact?
I had no chat. I had a chat with Gibby pregame. I'll just share that with you. And we talked about, what could happen in the game, and then here's these physical players they have. But it wasn't about sending somebody out to fight.
Yeah.
How is you got to follow?
I just want to ask, you have that conversation with him, and here you are talking about the physical guys that they may have. And I feel like a Sabre fan that is seeing what happened in the last 24, 48 hours is flashing back to Miller and Lucic and probably asking themselves again, like, do the Sabres have enough players that just have that in them as opposed to being asked to bring it out of them?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that has to come from within. That when you become a great team, it comes out of you. It comes out of players that, if you look at early in the year when Zucker, who is not a fighter, dropped his gloves and went at somebody, it comes out of you. It is about the group coming together, and it has to come out of you. Some of those guys that play the role sometimes is only a role because they're carried along because of their teammates.
Lindy Ruff with us on the Western Highline. Lindy, by the way, how injury-wise, is there an update on Thompson after not playing last night?
Feels good. He's in a day-to-day category. We'll see where he's at today. I can just give you a quick rundown. UPL, same thing, day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
Probably will not skate today. Samuelsson will not skate today. That's probably as deep as I can go with anybody.
Okay.
Kozak has been sick. Kozak and Greenway both will practice with the team, so that's probably the positive news I got for you.
Is that Kozak being sick? We've talked about, man, how long have we had updates from you on, like, guys getting sick? Has it been a month? Like, is this the same thing that's still kind of running around the team, or is it different?
Exact same thing.
Wow.
A guy like Kozak has lost 7-8 pounds. He's down 7-8 pounds. And some guys recovered it like in 2 to 3 days. We've had a couple guys that it's been 6-7 days, but it's the exact same type of scenario with almost every player. So I actually trying to stay away from the players.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Although I need the weight loss.
This is the last time we'll speak to you until there's a break. Saturday, the final one before a 2-week stretch. Is that even maybe frustrating to you that the team's starting to get on a roll here, and we'll see what happens Saturday, but then it's 2 weeks off?
I kind of look at it two ways, a little bit, but at the same time, these guys that are banged up, all the guys we mentioned, it may have come at a good time to get all these guys back. So that, from Kozak to Greenway to Thompson to you name it, getting them all back. So I think you got to weigh where you're at. And the fact we got one more game before the break, we have to go out and win that.
Will you be watching the Super Bowl?
I will,
all right.
For sure.
We got a lot of Bills fans.
A lot of Bills fans say they're skipping it.
They say they can't bring themselves to do it.
We'll see.
I can tell you who I'm cheering for.
Is it Philadelphia, I hope?
Yes.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Lindy. Thanks very much, and congratulations on the win streak, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Bye now.
All right.
Thanks, Lindy.
Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff.